So as I just said, basic animation technique and also how to do this stuff in Flash. Sorry, Animate. So what I'm going to do is just set up a basic round sphere, which will be my, holding down shift for the circle. This will be my Pacman character. All right, that's just amazing. What I'm actually going to do is at this point, I'm going to convert it to a symbol. Modify, convert to symbol. Okay. Now I'm going to go into that symbol and actually start modifying the symbol as I draw it. So I'm going to move along. What I want to do is animate on twos. So every second frame will be part of this. But the reason I'm only progressing one frame at this point is because I want to actually make the start and the end the same. So as it cycles through the animation, it'll all become clearer by the end. So here I'm just creating the mouth shape again. And I should be able to, no, it selects the whole lot, so making sure all these things connect up, still connects the whole lot. Well, I can get rid of that one. Come on, yeah. Something around there and something around there. Still annoyingly enough. Well, I'll just make it not work at all. All right, redraw that one. So line tool, just to create the mouth shape. I'm making it overlap so that way when I select it, I can actually cut out the bits I don't want. Still being painful. Oh, I'll just go along 2 frames and try and fix it in the next go. So here, again, line tool. By this stage, the Pacman's mouth should be completely open. And I should be able to collect the pieces and delete the bits I don't want. All right, Flash, you're just being weird on me. Okay. So this is really just tidying up once it's done. So I have the final part of the animation. This one I've still got to fix up. So, and for some reason it's being very painful. Well, the outside's connected, so this must be the inner bit that is not connected. So try it for the 3rd time. And delete again the bits I don't want. All right, so now I've got the basic half of my animation, mouth opening. What I'm going to do is actually going to copy frames 2 and 3. I'm going to copy frames and then jump to frame 6, I think it is, maybe 7, and paste those frames. So that way, mouth opens and I'm starting the closing mouth. Then I get the final frame, and again, copy that frame and go to the end of my sequence and paste that frame. So what I have now is opening mouth, closing mouth. The reason I've got a 2 frame at the start, a 1 frame at the start and the end, is that adds up to 2 frames. So as this plays, it should do that appropriately, repeating. Now, exiting out of this symbol side of things, back to the main scene. If I zoom out again, I just want Pacman to move for 50 frames in a straight line. Motion 20. Very simple. In fact, let's modify it a little bit so that he also goes up. So if I actually just hit play on this, nothing happens. But if I go through and test the animation, Control Test, which is Control Enter as a shortcut, what it'll do is it'll do the finished version. You can see him chomping along there. So now I need to add the pills he's going to eat. Well, Pacman goes around and eats pellets, doesn't he? It's a game about eating food.
I genuinely thought you said pills.
I did. Because he has a power-up pill. That's the big glowy one that makes him eat the ghosts. Don't you know anything? Anyhow, stop talking. I'm doing this. I was recording. Okay, so what I'm going to do is basically a whole bunch of series of simple little shapes. And normally what you do is you just copy and paste these to repeat them. So as my Pacman goes along, eats the first shape, and you can see that I've used the little box icon, which is the 3rd icon on the layers, to make that object see-through, so I just see the outline. At this point, where Pacman has chomped that first pellet, I'm going to insert a keyframe and then use the eraser tool with a slightly larger brush size to rub out the bit I don't want. Then jump along a few more frames, make sure that he's eaten it, and then insert a keyframe and rub out the bit I don't want. And this process is simply repeated. Keyframe, rub out the bit you don't want, jump along a little further, and that sort of stuff. So that at the end of this sequence, you should have something like that. Now, I haven't finished it, obviously, but you can see him chomping along. That is the first thing about doing movies within movies, all right? In the booklet, it's listed as something else, but this is the Pacman one.